What's going on, everybody? I'm Matt Dimech.
I'm Justin Perez.
And welcome back to Fantasy Football Stardom Sit-em. We're bringing you our picks for Week 9. For my first stardom pick, I'm taking Cedric Tillman. In the last 2 weeks, he has put up 18 and 28 points. He's received 21 total targets in those games, and in the prior 7 weeks, he only received 5. The uptick in production can be really locked down to 2 main factors. Number 1, Jameis Winston. He's provided the Browns much more stability at the quarterback position than Deshaun Watson has, and in his starting role, Cedric Tillman has flourished. Another thing that's helped out Cedric Tillman is the departure of Amari Cooper. It's really given Tillman the opportunity to step up and take up a bigger role for this team as the team's wide receiver 1.
For my first start, I have James Conner. James Conner in the last 2 games has averaged 19 carries a game, along with 3 to 4 targets. He's a goal line machine. The Cardinals love to use him in the red zone, meaning he should get a lot of touchdowns. Furthermore, he's getting hot. 2 weeks ago, he had 100 rushing yards, and last week, he had a touchdown. I'm hoping this week, those two get paired together for a very big fantasy game. This offense is due for a very big game, and on top of that, the new Call of Duty game just got released, and for those of you who don't know, that means that Kyler Murray's production goes down. He plays video games a lot, and with that being said, that should help James Conner a lot this week.
For my second start pick, I'm taking Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end Cade Otton. Otton is currently the number 6th ranked tight end in fantasy football. He's receiving at least 80% of the snaps per game and has gotten 6 or more targets in 5 out of his last 6 games. Last week, he had his season best 29 points on 9 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. The injuries of wide receivers Chris Godwin and Mike Evans have really given Otton the opportunity to emerge as Baker Mayfield's number 1 target. With those 2 guys going down, it's really become a frenzy to see who's going to step up in this offense. And I think Baker Mayfield and Cade Otton have really gotten on the same page.
I agree with that. From my second start, I have Brian Robinson Jr. He has a division matchup against the Giants this week, my apologies. And in his first matchup against the Giants, he had 144 rushing yards. This offense is set to destroy the Giants this week in a division rivalry. In their first game, Daniels did not throw for a touchdown pass. Since then, he's been the number 1 ranked QB in the league offensively. With that being said, I think that B-Rob's going to eat this week. Look for him in the backfield. You need to start him this week in offense. Favorable game script, should get a lot of yards, and should get a touchdown.
Looking at the more negative, my first sit, it's going to be Chuba Hubbard. Many viewers of the show are going to be a little bit surprised by that one because I started him last time we did this show. Hubbard has been a great RB2 option in fantasy this season. He's the number 11 running back coming into this week. And so that might beg the question, why would I be sitting him? The third-year running back has seen a decline in both his carries and points in each of the last 3 weeks. And with the decline in these numbers, it begs the question, what's going to happen when Jonathan Brooks debuts this week? There's a bit of an uncertainty of who's going to be taking the load of the running back, who's going to be the clear-cut RB1. I definitely would expect Chuba Hubbard to get more of the attempts than Jonathan Brooks, but with the decline in his numbers and then just a little bit of that share taken away from him, I think it's enough to push Hubbard on your bench this week.
Definitely. My first set is Amari Cooper. And a few weeks ago, I would have been saying to start Amari Cooper. I love him in this Bills offense. Unfortunately, with that being said, he received 1 target in a blowout win against the Seahawks. I don't know how a top receiver in the league only gets 1 target. He also is playing Miami. They are the number 2 ranked defense in the league against receivers. Keon Coleman has established himself as the 1 in this offense and the number 1 goal line threat. Josh Allen's favorite goal line target. Because of his presence, Amari Cooper has the number 1 corners on each team guarding him, and unfortunately, he just has too many drops. With all those factors, I would say sit Amari Cooper this week.
For my final sit-and pick, I'm taking Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook was less than impressive in his return to the field on Sunday. He had many fantasy managers excited picking him up on the waiver wire at his potential debut with the Dallas Cowboys, and in his first game, he only made 6 carries for a measly 12 yards. The Cowboys' running back room is awfully crowded. With Rico Dowdle coming back this week from injury as well, it's just not going to be looking too good for Dalvin Cook this week. Last year for Baltimore, he was a relative non-factor in this offense, never having a double-digit point game for them. And alongside Ezekiel Elliott in that running back room, I really just don't think there's enough wealth to go around to justify starting the 7-year veteran.
Definitely. And for my last set, I have Nick Chubb. Me personally, I was very excited to see Nick Chubb come back in this offense. I love Nick Chubb. He's an amazing running back. Unfortunately, his fantasy production is very subpar. The Chargers are a top 5 defense in the NFL as a whole and a top 3 rushing defense. With that being said, as he said about Cedric Tillman, this offense, the Browns offense, is more pass heavy. This means that Chubb will not get any receiving work out this backfield, and him being a workhorse back, 52 yards, 50 to 80 yards rushing, produces only 8 points in fantasy. He gets no receiving work, as I said. And hopefully, if he sees the end zone, his production will be a lot, but I don't see them doing that against the Chargers. I hope he has a bounce back week, but unfortunately, I don't think he will. I would sit Nick Chubb this week.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Fantasy Football Stardom Sit 'em. Good luck out there, fantasy owners.